Hey everybody, welcome back to the Underswell. I'm Derek Sabori, and today we're gonna dive into another brand. We're gonna do a brand recap, a brand overview. We're gonna go have a look at a website and see what's going on in terms of sustainability. And today, what I wanna do is ask, is H&M a sustainable brand? Can we even figure that out by looking at their website? Well, listen, I think this will hopefully get some pushback and some commentary because I feel like H&M is the brand that everybody loves to hate or hates to love, one or the other, but there's no denying H&M is doing a lot of sustainability work, making a lot of effort, and I would argue that they are really pushing things forward in a big way, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. But just like anything, there are trade-offs. We can obviously make the argument that they have been a part of the fast fashion push and they promote overconsumption, etc., all different things. But today we're just going to dive in and have a look at what's going on their website and see what they're telling us, what they're talking about, and see what we like, what we don't like, and see if we can come to the conclusion as to whether H&M is really a sustainable brand. You guys ready? Let's dive in. Let's have a look at their website. All right, so first when I get here to the homepage, I like this. I like that sustainability is right here at top. And this is on their main site. So they use www.2hm.com. But when you go here, you can shop for women, divided, men, baby, kids, home, sale. But right here, there's their sustainability prompt, which is great, right? You can also drop down. You can get all of their work, and they break it down into change, innovation, fair, and they have this nice little saying, let's be for all, let's be transparent, let's clean up. So they're addressing transparency, they're addressing circularity, they're addressing innovation, diversity, justice, inclusion, etc. They've got the products that have sustainability features. They're talking about taking care, so they're focusing on repairing, remaking, refreshing. That's a good part of sustainability. And then over here, more of their corporate commitments, right? So you can see their group sustainability strategy. We can have a look at their sustainability report and see some of the foundation work, some of the philanthropy they're doing. Outside of that, if we just sort of scroll through here and see what's on their home page, I'm not getting a sense right now that sustainability is front and center or being promoted in any of the products necessarily. Well, here we go. Here's something recycled glass they're talking about, which is cool. But we'll go straight to the sustainability tab and see what's going on behind the sustainability button. So if we click here, I'm just going to drop to the main page and see what's going on. So here's that cloud image. So sustainability. And again, fashion worth cherishing, good concept, utilization, making people love the products that they buy, get the most out of them, and have them for a long time. Love the clothes that you buy and make sure that you get good use of them and keep them in the system that we value those resources for as long as possible. Let's have a look here. We'll just go to the latest and see what's going on. Fashion worth cherish. That's a hard one to say. Fashion worth cherish. No, I still can't say it. Fashion worth cherishing. That's a tongue twister. But there it is, Bottle2fashion, from plastic waste to wardrobes and beyond. So you've heard me talk about this, and I'm sure they would acknowledge this, you know, taking another industry's plastic waste, specifically the plastic bottle industry, and using it as inputs for clothing. Is it better than using virgin polyester? Well, recycled does have a lower footprint, but we're still enabling, promoting this single-use culture in another industry. So ideally, we want to use our own materials, our own waste, and get those into our products. So ideally we would be moving more towards circularity. This idea of putting plastic bottles as a substitute for virgin polyester, they're both the same, right? Polyethylene terephthalate, or PET. The recycled version has a lower footprint. It requires some certification and verification to make sure that it was recycled, but it's not the perfect solution. And at this point, it's almost sort of table stakes as well. H&M, I know already, is investing in more circularity, so that's good, but they're gonna promote that one as well. Their Bottle2fashion program. Using good words like collaborate, innovate, and celebrate. So they are collaborating with, so not only does this program support the Indonesian government's initiative against marine pollution, but it also enables us to lower the footprint of our garments by using recycled materials. So there you go. They're putting a couple different spins on it. They've got a nice video here that shows that, hey, plastic bottles go down to chips, chips go into fiber, and fiber goes into yarn, yarn goes into your fabric and t-shirts. So telling the story here, what we would love to see is if there was a full circular approach here, right? Where this t-shirt then could be made into another t-shirt. And maybe they've got it on here. We're gonna have a look. I know they've got that section here Let's close the loop. Let's see what's going on here. We're just going to jump over there. So let's close the loop. Trends worth following: recycling and repairing. Our garment collecting program is the world's biggest of its kind. It was rolled out globally in 2013. So that's great. That's a systems change, right? In order for us to be circular, there has to be a system in place for a brand to know where their clothes went, get them back, take care of transportation, reverse logistics, get those goods back, warehouse them, clean them, sort them, etc. Decide what they're going to do with them, break them down, turn them into new fibers to yarns. They're saying over 10% of a garment's total impact on the climate happens after you've left the store. Things like how often you wash your clothes or toss them in the trash instead of recycling. All of these things have an effect. And in fact, Levi's, their LCA showed us that, the biggest footprints, especially when it comes to water, come from the fiber, so furthest upstream, and then also from consumer use, how we wash our clothes. And so they try to get consumers to wash less and less, and H&M is kind of telling us the same. They're saying, hey, if you don't want your products, recycle it. Bring in anything that's unwanted, hand in your bag of clothes, receive a thank you coupon towards your next purchase. So that's great. There's some incentive there. Once you've dropped off your item, it's going to their partner called ICO. Now, ICO is interesting. I've worked with them before, and they're doing a great job. They've got a great program. It's called ICO Spirit. They are really sort of one of the main organizations. You'll often see their logo for collecting these goods. Sort of the downfall here is that not all of these goods, consumers often think, oh, great, that's like a recycling bin. You're going to turn those goods into new products. It's not really the case. We are still waiting for recycling capabilities to scale up. Often these goods are being downcycled. So this would be shredded. This might become insulation, carpet padding, stuffing for animals, wiper rags, etc. So it's not the best, it's not perfect, but hey, you know what? It's still something. They are, though, saying that, hey, we want to have you rewear these. These will either be reweared, we can reuse these. They're saying all of the clothes and textiles are shredded into textile fibers and used to make, for example, insulation materials. So what's great here, there's no greenwashing. They're not telling us anything. They're telling it like it is. And I think that's fair, and that is great. They are also promoting this idea of kind of an alternative commerce model. They're doing a rental program, so now you can own the look without owning the garment. So that's great. So I don't know if H&M is selling secondhand. That would be great as well as part of their re-commerce, their alternative business model. But I do like this here. They're doing a good job of informing us of how many tons of unwanted clothes they've collected. That's a lot, 94 million t-shirts. And you can dive in deeper and meet the design tools that are closing the loop on fashion. Their Circulator. So this is cool. Part visual guide, part circularity calculator, meet the design tool. So this is a great resource. This is coming in 2022. I don't know if it's fully available yet, but you envision your product, define the product category, decide on the components. Circularity definitely relies on designing for recyclability, designing for disassembly, designing for long use, designing for, all of those things, for repair, etc. So it starts with the design process. So I love that they're breaking this down again. They're working with an organization called the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, who is doing a lot of work on the circular economy. So right there, boom, we can click here and we can see what is the circular economy. Here it is. They've got a lot of good resources if you want to learn about it. I love the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and all the educational work that they're doing with a heavy emphasis on circularity. So check that out. You can see the circular economy principles: eliminate waste and pollution, circulate products and materials, keep them at their highest value, and then regenerate nature, make it better and stronger than when you got there. So we've got fashion worth cherishing, keeping those products, owning them for a long time, getting a lot of use out of them, because no matter what the footprint was on that product, if we can spread that out over many months, many years, then all of a sudden that's not as bad. But if we have a high footprint and we only use it for a short time, then that's even compounding, making the situation even worse. There are plastic bottles here, and then the future circularity. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what's going on in innovation. I'm interested in what they're talking about for innovation. This is a place we know that materials and processes and chemicals and low carbon supply chains, these are the things that we want to see in the future. Less of a reliance on fossil fuels, more of a reliance on biomaterials, regenerative, renewable materials. So here they're promoting fashion made from grapes and waste. Welcome to the future. So that's kind of cool. H&M is great in the fact that they invest in and support a lot of, burgeoning innovations, I should say. They've got the Global Change Award. H&M is doing a lot of work with a company that I really like that you guys have heard me talk about, Circular Systems. Circular Systems takes waste and turns it into valuable fiber for the fashion industry. And they actually got really kind of launched into the bigger picture by the Global Change Award that H&M offers. So I know this really helped them and helped get them into the main stage. But they're doing some great work as well, and I know we'll probably find Circular Systems materials in here. But let's see, so we care about cotton. So all of our cotton is either organic, recycled, and or cotton sourced through the Better Cotton Initiative. That's called BCI. That's a type of cotton. It's a nonprofit organization that trains cotton farmers to use water efficiently, care for habitats, etc. So I love that. Why isn't all your cotton organic? So they're addressing questions that they're getting from customers. We're the world's largest user of organic cotton, but it's not the only cotton we use. Organic, and this is true right here, organic cotton accounts for less than 1% of all the cotton produced in the world. H&M is probably buying most of it. That's a very tiny number. This is why I love that they are working with the industry. So they're founding partners of an accelerator called OCA, or the Organic Cotton Accelerator. You can check out that website as well. That's a place where the industry can come together to help promote organic cotton and get more of it into the industry, out into our clothing and our brands. What else? Groundbreakers, learn about the most innovative materials used in our collections. Let's see what else they got. They're using grapes. They are using circulose. I think we've highlighted that before. This is made from 100% discarded cotton. So they have found a way to take discarded cotton and viscose, that tree-based fiber, turn them into a slurry and create a biodegradable pulp that can be turned into new fibers, yarns, fabrics, and garments. They are also using AgriLoop. AgriLoop is one of the solutions from Circular Systems that I mentioned. That one is right here. AgriLoop is awesome because it is made from agricultural waste or crop residue. Hemp, CBD hemp, oilseed, flax. I think banana and pineapple are coming as well, so check them out. That's a great solution as well. The orange fiber, so this is fiber made from oranges, an Italian company, and there it is, Global Change Award winner, called Orange Fiber. So that's great. They're doing some good work, but they helped launch these materials companies, and that's what I really, really like. Here's a repair, remake, and refresh program here, and I'm talking about, this is sort of eco-living, right? How to live more sustainably, things that you can do, how to take out toothpaste stains, blood stains, fix your phrase, etc. That's really helpful, and this is good stuff for being a responsible customer. So I think that is a great service that they're offering. Praise from others, let's clean up, let's be transparent, let's see what's going on when it comes to transparency in their supply chain. Remember, we don't have transparency without having traceability. So I would imagine that H&M has some good traceability in their supply chains. In fact, I know they do, and I think they've got their supplier map. I think we're gonna see it here. With us, it's super simple to find out where your clothes were made. We believe being transparent is an important part of becoming more sustainable. Couldn't agree more. It's actually probably the first and most important thing that you need to do is have traceability in your supply chain, though, so that you can be open with your customers to let people know where your products were made, how they were made. That actually helps factory workers as well. Go over to Fashion Revolution and learn more about that. Here you go. In fact, did you know the Fashion Transparency Index by Fashion Revolution, and I cover this pretty deeply in my course that I offer, it evaluates how transparent the 250 largest global brands and retailers are on a range of social and environmental sustainability issues. It ranks them on how transparent they are, how much they share, not on what they're doing or what their impacts are. But in 2021, H&M became the second highest scoring brand. So you cannot discount all of the great work that they're doing and the power that they have in the industry. When they do something, if they're putting half of their product line into organic cotton or more, that is going to be a huge amount in the space because they're such a big brand. This is over on their corporate site. You can go over to HM Group, so that's differently. We could kind of spend probably a lot of time going through all of these. Before I go over to the corporate one, let's have a look here at what their conscious choice explained is. So they're calling this sort of the shortcut to more sustainable shopping. It's called conscious choice. And I feel like this was called something else before. It was the conscious collection, I think it was. So something similar, but they're saying, hey, it can be tricky to know if you're making environmentally friendly shopping choices. I love that they're acknowledging that. I think what's great about the H&M site is it's very explanatory. There's a lot in here, but it's not flashy. It's not hyped up. They're not juicing things up to be something that they are not. They're explaining it, saying what it is, what it isn't. They have pieces, they say, created with a little extra consideration for the planet. Each conscious choice product contains at least 50% of more sustainable materials. I like to use that language as well. I think they're treading lightly here because most of us will agree that these are not, sustainable materials. There is nothing truly sustainable, but they are better. They're preferred. They're better than their counterparts or the virgin alternative, like organic cotton or recycled polyester, but many, they say, contain a lot more than that. The only exception is recycled cotton, where we accept a level of at least 20%. That one's tricky as well because the more recycled fibers you put in there, quality starts to get kind of not as nice. You can't get those fine, nicer ring spun yarns. Circular System, though, really has that dial. They offer a really nice ring spun yarn and fabric with a higher content in their text loop collection, so you can have a look at that. But they're breaking it all down here, showing what is there. And if we go and look, let's just have a look here in the women's section and see what's on offer. So, for example, let's have a look at this sweatshirt. What's in this sweatshirt? So, if we're shopping for a product, they just call it a printed sweatshirt. So far, we don't know if it's truly what's going on with sustainability. It's conscious choice. It's lightweight, relaxed fit, printed design, crew neck, drop shoulders, okay. Size, composition, cotton 78%, polyester 22%. What more sustainable materials are they using? Well, the shell is made of recycled polyester 12%, and 11% of that cotton is recycled. Okay, that's something. It's not the greatest, but hey, they're not painting any other picture. I wonder if we can find out. So they're telling us that we can learn about the product, who made it, where it was made, etc. How easy is that to find? So we have details, delivery and payment. Let's see some details. Okay, so here's all of the more sustainable materials. Here are the care instructions, how to get the most out of your product. The description, is it imported? Yes, nice to know. No chance here yet to kind of find out what's going on, where it was made or otherwise. So that's a little bit of the shopping experience. Curious about what we're doing to lessen our environmental impact? You can read more. But here they're saying by 2030, so 8 years from now, we aim to only work with recycled, organic, or other sustainably sourced materials. Right now, we're at 80%. That's a big number, guys. Have a look at that. That's impressive. Over here on the corporate site, I do want to know if here's sustainability reporting, they're fair and equal. I mean, there is a lot in here. They are checking off all the boxes, right? They've probably got a great report here. They're telling us they've got a materiality report, which shows us, hey, where are the biggest impacts? What do they need to be most concerned with? And it's likely cotton, synthetics, agriculture, biodiversity, water use, etc. What reporting frameworks they use. Leading the change, so they've got their vision and strategies here, goals and ambitions. Here is their supply chain that we're going to look at. And I like this. They've got a responsible purchasing policy. All of their practices there. How do they purchase? How do they buy? Are they being aware of the impacts that they're having on workers? Are they being aware of the impacts that they're having on their suppliers when they make poor decisions or make changes in their site or in their tech packs, etc.? So let's have a look at the supply chain though and see what they're able to share with us. So supply chain, we can see they're showing us the typical fashion supply chain. Great, doing some good educational work, talking about all the tiers, which you've heard me talk about. Falling into tiers 2, tier 1, etc. They go from farm, feedstock, ginning, recycling, fiber production. All of this is raw material production. Yarn spinning, knitting, weaving, fabric dyeing, and trims. There you go. That's the next stage, component production and processing. So this is all tier 4 and tier 3. This is tier 2. This is tier 1, product manufacturing and processing. And then we go to the trader or the agent, the warehouse, etc. That's the gate at which point it goes to market. Tier 0 is what we call their offices and headquarters. They have an impact there that they need to account for. They talk about all of their supply chain numbers. Then they show their employees as well, their worker representation, share of women employees, how we work with our suppliers, some capacity building, training, that's cool. So here is their supplier list. So it's nice that it's downloadable. We can get their supplier list right here to find out what is on offer. So we'll go and open that up. You can check to see where their products are made. So for example, we can find out, hey, what factories are they using in Bangladesh? So here are all of their factories. They've got an 11 here. So Ananta, let's check to see which factories they are. There's the name of them. And if we click on any one of them, we get to see their address, how many workers there are, what they do, and what type of relationship it is to the actual supplier. So those are all the sub-suppliers under Ananta. So that's pretty cool. So there are 11 of them, 10 and 5, all of them there. So a long list. Look at this supply chain. This is crazy. Is this still just in Bangladesh? Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot. So this is how big they are. I'm still scrolling. I wonder how many there are. That's crazy. So it's nice though that you can get in here. Let's have a look and see what's going on with their actual supplier list in their downloadable form and see if we can get some additional insights there. So here it is, manufacturing factories. And some might say this is crazy that they're giving this away, but what would you possibly do with all of this information? What this is great for is if we find out that something, for example, happens at Tetlabo, for example, this one here, then if we hear something in the news, there are worker complaints, then NGOs, nonprofits can really quickly go through and start pulling from the big brands to see if they are using them. If we find out that H&M is using this factory and we know that H&M might be able to have an influence and pull some sway or influence the factory to do better, then they can leverage that, right? Also, factories like this, they don't want to lose this business with H&M, so they're doing everything they can to kind of stay at that high level, and they know they're being exposed, they're out there, their name is here. They want to make sure that they're doing what they can to be a good factory, support the commitments that H&M has, and they don't want to have any negative, news or press around the work that they're doing either. Let's have a look to see what corporate governance. I want to go here and see if we can find out what the vision and strategy is. All right. Vision, and so that is under leading the change. Let's see what their goals actually are. That's what I meant. I want to see what kind of goals they're focused on. So their approach, leading the change, scaling innovation, promoting transparency, circular and climate positive. And I like this language. I think this is actually really important. I'm going to show you something else. They're using climate positive approach, so they're recognizing the work that needs to be done on climate action, net positive impact on biodiversity, circular ecosystem for products, their supply chains and customer journeys. That's deep language as well, focusing on fair and equal, a nice sort of trifecta here, and all supported by respecting human rights. They want to be completely circular by 2025, so design all products for circularity using their Circulator. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that Circulator and see what that becomes. Climate, 100% renewable electricity in our operations, so that's tier 0, that's their own, and tier 1, so they're cutting and sewing factories, and tier 2 suppliers, so that's their mills. This is a big, important initiative, so I hope that they are on track to hit that. That is super important. Meanwhile, they're going to reduce electrical intensity, reduce their scope 1, 2, and 3 greenhouse gas emissions. All of this language, guys, if you're not familiar with it, this is the kind of thing you want to stick around for, because I'm always doing videos to talk about what this even means, why it's important, what is net zero, what is 1.5 degrees, what are the scopes, how do I know this language? So either come with me, take my course, or just stick around. We'll eventually get to it in all of these videos. But here's where they want to achieve net zero. If you're not familiar with what that means, it might be different than what you're thinking. So it's not, net zero is not balancing out our emissions. It doesn't say emit this much and then offset it with something else. It means lower your emissions all the way to zero as much as you can, reduce it by 50% by 2030, by 100% by 2050. We have to, it's what's required. And then invest in products or solutions that can also help sequester and reverse the emissions, the greenhouse gases that have been emitted into the atmosphere. They're focusing on chemicals. In our academy, in our online academy that I've got, the Underswell Academy, we just did a great section on chemicals if you want to learn more, but they want to be toxic free. I'd be interested to click and learn what they mean by that. Hopefully they're aligning with some of the great organizations who are doing good work, the ZDHC, etc. By 2025, 30% recycled materials. All of their polyester will be 100% recycled. All of their wood will be FSC certified. They'll only source viscose and other man-made cellulosic fibers from places that have good environmental practices, closed-loop water processing of water and chemicals, I should say. All of our animal-based leather will be chrome-free. The chromium-6 that's used in tanning, super toxic, very polluting. All their virgin wool and animal hair will come from farms with good animal practices. By the end of 2030, only 100% recycled or more sustainably sourced materials in their line. Packaging, all of that there, water use. This is exhaustive. They've got a really good list of ambitions here. The question is, will they achieve these? Will they hit these deadlines? Are they on track? And that's something that I wish more brands offered, sort of, and maybe they haven't, maybe we just haven't seen it yet, but I would love to see sort of a, hey, how are we doing on our updates here or on our ambitions? Burton actually did a really good job of kind of putting a meter. Burton Snowboards and Snow Company, have a look at them. But don't see that right now on the H&M site, but maybe it's there. Some work with WWF. Here's their materials, what they're doing on microfibers. You can go to buildings. This is a cool one too. They've probably got some stuff where they're showing us how many of their buildings are LEED certified. They've designed out waste. They're reusing what we have, working together, reducing emissions, more efficiency. I wonder if they've got any certifications associated with it. I don't see them saying that, but there we go. A lot of stuff in here. You could probably go for hours in here just kind of trying to figure out what they are doing. If there's other things that you would love to see in here to talk about either their transparency, their fairness. Actually, I'm going to look at two more things. I want to look at what they mean by fair. Are we talking about fair wages, fair fashion? Like many fashion brands, we don't own our factories where the clothes are made. But we want to, and that's a tough one, right? Because they have so much influence, but that's an easy way to say, hey, not our fault, but I don't think they're doing that here, but that is something you'll hear from a lot of brands. But we want everyone involved in making our products to have a safe, fair, and equal working environment. Our aim for every country and supplier is to make sure our values are respected every step of the way. So how do we do this? Well, factories have to sign their sustainability commitment, so you could click there to see what that is. It's a set of standards regarding fair wages. So they're not talking about living wages. At one point, H&M was talking about giving everybody in their supply chain, making sure that they had a living wage. They've retracted that since, and I can't even find, they had this great little video that was out there explaining what a living wage was, but I can see they've moved here to fair wages, but that's still good. Good working conditions, animal welfare, much more. This is non-negotiable. To ensure our suppliers are living up to this, we employ dedicated sustainability staff in our worldwide production offices. They do audits, visits. We provide training to workers. Although there are challenges in many countries in which we operate, our size, here's that acknowledgement, makes it possible for us to actually make a difference. So they're committing to the UN guiding principles on business and human rights. That's something that's worth looking up and checking out. If you're not familiar with those, just a simple Google search will get you there. And which site is it? UN Global Compact. Boom, I think it's under that one. Here it is. So have a look there. I can put that link down there in the show notes for you. Here's their topic on fair wages and a ban on forced labor and child labor. That should go without saying. These are common code of conduct points, animal welfare. But we've been named one of the most ethical companies in the world by Ethisphere, which is a reputable magazine and organization, 9 times. So, like I said, love to hate them, hate to love them, whatever it is. Well, what about fast fashion? What about the volume? What about, we're kind of focusing on the, hey, this is actually some kind of good stuff. I'm kind of elevating the things we're doing as opposed to coming at it from an angle of like, to chop it down. I think it's important to give them benefit, give them credit for what they are doing, and for most brands as well, especially when I think they're being humble about it. I do appreciate that they are not, I think, trying to paint any picture that isn't fair to say, for example. Check this out. Let's watch this. Here is their CEO with somebody else here, Jesper Broden. I think he's from the IKEA group. But listen to this language that they're using real quick, because I think this is important that it's coming from their CEO.
We've been talking a lot through digital tools, but now you're finally here.
So Helena Helmerson, she's the CEO of H&M. I think she has a sustainability background, if I'm not mistaken. So check her out, but listen to this. This is what I really like.
And I think we met each other 8-10 times virtually, and but nothing replaces a real meeting. So it's great to be here.
Today we're going to discuss more around sustainability and in particular climate positivity and circularity.
So when your CEO is talking about climate positivity and circularity, to me that's a mature, approach to sustainability. They know what they're doing and what they're talking about. So how can we future-proof the retail industry and bust the myth that sustainable products will break the bank? There's another good thing. I think that's a good point. What they're trying to do is bring sustainability to the masses at a reasonable price. Sustainable products, the products that I make for our brand Cosm, they're expensive. They just are. Small batches, sustainable fibers, boutique, super expensive. H&M is not super expensive. So I think they deserve some credit for that. Like we've said before, they say listening and collaborating with others is key to making change happen. So here's her talking of the CEO of the Inga Group, which is IKEA, finally had the chance to meet in real life. So worth checking out. They are constantly supporting innovations. Here's another grant for planet positive work. They're doing partnerships with everybody. They're helping bringing things to life. They've got a commitment to fair and equal, which we didn't dive into. But I do think make sure you, for all brands that you're interested in, have a look at what their sustainability reports look like. This is a brand's opportunity to dive in, capture the year, and tell us how they did. And that goes to what I had said earlier. Do they tell us how close they are to their goals? This is where they should do that and tell us that how they're doing on their circularity effort. What's going on with recycled materials? How about their philanthropy? The Circulator, did it come to life? Sustainability linked bonds, which is kind of cool, a way of investing in our company and the planet, empowering women, ties in with their strategy, their sustainability disclosure. They're aligned, they're using the GRI index framework, which is an important standardization for sustainability reporting. You can see all the previous reports on here. There's probably a lot of information to dive into in that report. I'm sure that if we were to download it, let's have a quick glance before I let you go. So 74 pages. You're gonna go through and find out what's going on with the report. There are links in there, but going through and understanding the work that a brand like, or an organization like H&M is doing is, I think, overwhelming, should be motivating, should be inspiring, and it should say that, hey, if they can do it, we can do it. They're one of the biggest, and they're making changes, which is good. They have pivoted, and this, I think, is advanced terminology, deep commitment, and it's not to say that they're perfect. It's not to say that we couldn't go in there and find things that they're not doing right. You could probably right now Google things and find out pushback that they're getting from NGOs, but the language looks good, the explanations are good, they're checking off all of the topics. They are working from raw material extraction from the farm all the way to consumer use and end of life. So they're trying to encompass everything at the life cycle, looking at environmental and social aspects. So I think that's great. Here are the highlights, here are the stats. So spend some time. And don't just do this for H&M, do it with your favorite brand, do it with whoever you're shopping for, and sort of use this as sort of the high level to expect for brands. Hold other brands accountable to start giving you, tracking this, build a team that can track this, measure it, share it with us, share as much as we can about sustainability and the work that's being done. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. Hope you can appreciate all the work that H&M is doing, the company that you might love to hate or hate to love. And I guess in the end, is H&M a sustainable brand? Well, guess what? I think H&M is absolutely a part of the movement. They are part of the sustainability movement. They are driving things forward and helping us to turn the apparel industry into one that can do things better. They're driving innovation, they're supporting workers, they're promoting transparency, a lot of good stuff. I give them a lot of credit. So absolutely, H&M, part of the movement, good work, keep it up, and hope that was helpful. Check back for more videos like this, and if you like videos like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot, and we want to hear from you. If there's a brand that you want me to cover, let me know as well. And also, don't forget to hit the link to join any of our clubs, whether it is the newsletter club, join the academy, go down and get the 35 things that you need to know on your journey to becoming a sustainability expert. We're always offering things. Go check the website, but hope you come back, check out more videos, and most of all, I hope that was helpful. All right, thanks.